Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Yvonne and you are on Ginger Chick Rehab, where I love to take secondhand finds and make them over for you all and share the process of what I do to these items. So in today's video, this is a thrift store flip. This is items that I found when I was out and about at thrift stores, and I'm going to share with you the process of how I give new life to these items that some would seem to think that they were unwanted, unloved, and just ready for the junk pile. And I know canisters are definitely one of the things that you will see at a secondhand thrift store, but can you envision what to do with them? So for me, just cleaning the lid and then taking some black spray paint, just black spray paint, which I am using Rust-Oleum's Enamel wear paint, and just giving it a new color will freshen it up. For the glass part of it, I just freshly washed it. It's nice and clean. I'm just going to get a general size of what the area is that I can print a label off my computer. As you see, I have quite a few downloads from Etsy and other external sources like Pinterest that I have saved to my files. So what I'm looking for is Cranky Coffee, which is a crow, which is my best seller. And I thought this canister is huge, so it's great for Keurigs or anything like that. So Cranky Coffee it is. And I just need to size it. When I'm sizing it, the size is coming up with the paper, the outline of the copier paper, but I just need a general size. And when I do the print preview, I can kind of tell if it's going to be the size that I needed. I've printed off enough of these. So then I go to my printer, and then when I went to print, it didn't work out so well. I know that there's many that probably already know this, but there may be some that do not. Do you know that you have a cleaning option for your printer? Yes, there's actually a cleaning option. So you can see that my maroon must have dust on it, so it's not printing out any of the maroon shade to make it. But then after I cleaned it, went through the cleaning features, and it's in your systems of your printer, you can see now it is going to print out properly. You will know when you need to do this. And if it ran with those lines, I would have needed to run it again to get any of the dust or lint that, accumulates. But now I have my clear image. I just wanted to share that in case somebody did not know that. Now that I have it colored the way that it should be colored, I'm just going to cut out the image as close or right on that black outline. To attach it to the canister, I'm just going to use Mod Podge, just simple, matte, no shine Mod Podge. And I'm just going to make sure that I get every little outline, especially along the edges, so that this adheres properly. Then I'll go ahead and set this off to the side and let that Mod Podge completely dry. And then when it's dry, I really like to do a clear coat over the top of it. You could reapply the Mod Podge if you want, but I really just like to spray on some polyacrylic. So just as you see, I'm spraying it on, but as soon as I'm done spraying, I take a Clorox wipe and a paper towel, and then I just wipe down the rest of the glass because that's really not what I wanted it to be on. You could tape it too if you wanted to, but I do still notice that it'll do an overspray unless you tape the whole jar. So it's just easiest just to go back through and gingerly wipe off that has gotten on the glass. Not all makeovers have to be complicated. They don't have to be this dramatic change. Now, when I picked this one up, I know that it was missing one of its holders. So, but I don't really think that distracts from it. It still can be used for what it can be used for. But I do think this color is a little distracting. The fake distressing is a little distracting. So just taking that enamel spray paint in the black and that flat finish will just elevate this to the next level. And yes, I could have glued 101 things over that spot that was missing, but I think that would make it more obvious. So the first two were kind of easy, simple makeovers. Now I have these metal butterflies, though I don't think the flower does much for them at all. But I was super excited because I know that butterflies sell really well. So first things first is I need to try to remove that flower. So it peeled right off. That was the easy part. But the glue, the adhesive left behind, that's another story. So I'm using the heat gun, trying to reactivate it, trying to get it to come off. Hopefully I end up having to use my scraping tool, but it always makes me nervous on metals because I don't really want to scrape the metal. And then it still left some sticky residue behind, so I'm just going to use a couple drops of lemon oil, and that should dissolve that sticky, and I should be able to wipe it off and then get these cleaned. Now, a new product I've been trying out, and I know some of y'all have used it before, is Slick Stick. So this is metal. I really want my paint to adhere because I would like to paint these so that they go outside and don't necessarily have to be in a covered area. So I'm going to go ahead and paint them with Slick Stick, and I'm going to make sure that I get complete coverage by putting 2 coats on. The thing about using Slick Stick is that is recommended for 24 hours to let it bond before proceeding on with a paint color. So after letting this sit all overnight, I'm going to now cover up that white using some of the Rust-Oleum enamel paint in black. I want to make these rusty, crusty goodness. So I'm going to be starting off with some of the Iron Dixie Belle Patina paint. Now I'm going to try a little bit different here. I just want to see, I've been using this, testing this out. And a lot of times I do like a pouncing, a dabbing of the paint on because I think it gives it that more of a texture, the real rust. But I thought, you know what, these are flat, they don't have a lot of texture. Why not go ahead and like brush them on so I can see the difference? I'm just kind of curious what the difference will be. Will you see the brush strokes? Will you not see the brush strokes? We will find out. So since I brushed it on, you can see that it's going to need a secondary coat. But that's okay. The fun of crafting is trying out different techniques and seeing what works and what doesn't work. Now I let that coat dry, and you can see where there are stripes where I didn't get the paint, so I need to go back in with a second coat. Right after I get the second coat applied, I'm going to go right in with my Patina spray. So I'm using the green because I want to see that reddish brown rust color on these. I'm always amazed by this process. Look at that goodness. Oh, they're gorgeous. But I need to seal that in, and I'm using Weather's Defense Metal Spray. And I will say I do see like my paint strokes from the brush, but that doesn't bother me in the least. But I do want to add a body back to these butterflies. And look at, I have some old clothespins that I think are perfect. Like the top looks like a little head. You got the long body. They're like the perfect Godwink moment size to put on these. So I'm going to use a little bit of Gorilla Glue, a little bit of hot glue to act like a clamp, and then glue these in place. Feel like they're super flat, so, and then the hanging system for them is right on the other side of the head, so I'm just going to give them a little bend. Oh, how I love outdoor stuff. Love cast iron. Love rusty, crusty goodness. But somebody has painted this cast iron silver, so it doesn't actually look the best. So I'm going to go ahead and get it cleaned up. Oh, though I wish they would not have painted it silver. But I'm sure people wish I wouldn't paint things black all the time. But, you know. But when it comes to cast iron, black is what sells for me. So if I have something in its painted colors, I will like test it out, put it in the booth. And if it doesn't sell over months and I bring it home and I paint it black, y'all, it sells. Like usually within the 2 days. That's happened time and time again to me when it comes to cast iron. Can't believe I found another butterfly. Now this one is much larger, it's a thicker metal, and it has a lot more detail on it. And I'm very excited about the detail because in my mind, I have a technique I want to try with that detail, but I need to go ahead and get these cleaned off. And just because it's shiny, y'all, and you thrifted it does not mean that it is clean. Look at all the dirt that's coming off this. Just like those other butterflies, I'm going to use the slick stick. I want to make sure that my paint is going to adhere and stay on for longevity. So same thing, brush it on. Just a nice thin coat is all it's going to take. And then when that coat dries, I'll go ahead and put another coat on and then let it sit overnight until I can paint it. I want to make sure that I don't see any of that white underneath color, so I'm going to go ahead and get this sprayed up with that matte black in the Rust-Oleum's enamel paint. So butterflies and a rusty crusty, I think, go together, and they're one of my best sellers. So back to the iron paint I go. So I'm going to do the same thing. Even though I saw the brush strokes, I just think it's two different types of metals. So I'm not really worried about that. And like I said, I didn't mind what it did on the flatter one. So, but I want to make sure that I get this thoroughly covered. So I will be doing 2 coats because of all the texture and brushing it on. I do think the pouncing works a little bit better to get it in 1 coat. But you're leaving more paint behind when you're doing the pouncing technique. I wanted to try something a little bit different with this one because it has all that detail. So now I'm using the copper patina paint, and I'm taking a small paintbrush and I'm going to just apply the copper paint on those detailed areas. So it may be a little time consuming, but I don't think it was that bad. And it's very forgiving. So if I get a blob here and a thinner space here, it's that perfectly imperfect. I don't want it to be perfect. Now for the patina spray, I'm going to start off with the rust color, which is the green patina. And the green patina is going to act differently on the copper paint than it will the iron paint. So you're still going to get 2 different tones going on. So then I like to wait like 15 minutes, let it start activating. As you can see, it started to activate. See how the copper is a little bit different color. Now I'm going to go over it with some of the blue patina spray. And so this is going to give it even a much different look. The green is going to react with the iron, it's going to react with the copper, and probably the green spray, I would assume. Oh my goodness. Patina overload. It is gorgeous. Every metal acts differently. So it's kind of like the milk paint and the chipping and the crackiness. It's just uncontrollable, and you just have to see what it does. Oh, loving this butterfly. So sealing this in with some more of the Weather Defense metal spray. And here's another one of my best sellers when I make them over, are calendars. Flip calendars, metal calendars, dollar, general calendars, but especially these block calendars. So let's update this burgundy color, and I believe this is just a Hobby Lobby piece. The letters are the numbers and the months have some wear on them, but I'll show you how to fix that. But first we need to get the tags. It's always tags. And this is just MDF board. So, so I'm going to heat these up with a heat gun and then try really hard not to go into the MDF board, but it always seems to happen. Luckily, it's on the bottom, and I'll just take my sander with some 220 grit and try to smooth that down. And I'll actually go over the rest of the piece just to give my next coat of paint. I'm going to be painting this piece something to grab onto. So like scuff sanding all these little areas. I know it's just a little box that holds calendar blocks, but still we want to paint it properly. Then here's my fix for all the little dings and dents of dropping these blocks. Yep, distressing the edges. Plain and simple. So I actually switched over to some 80 grit because the corners, they mar up when you drop them. But then when you want to go to sand them with 220, they don't want to sand. But yes, that just takes all those dings, dents, bruises out of them and makes it look like this is the way that they were supposed to be. That I have them all distressed, I'm going back in with just a wet wipe. I noticed that there was some pencil written on them. They are a little bit dirty, so let's get these cleaned off. And I think the Clorox wipe will be enough to take that pencil mark off. So now for the body, and I'm going to update the color using some Fusion paint. And I'm just going to go simple, neutral for a calendar, and I'm just doing Cashmere. And the nice thing about Fusions is it's paint, primer, and top coat all in one. So no need to pre-spray or pre-prime this piece at all. So you look at this paint job and you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to apply so many coats to get it to cover. But the uniqueness and the niceness of this paint is that first coat gets it on there. And then that second coat grabs onto that first coat beautifully. So yeah, look at that coverage. Yep, I will do the bottom. I will do all four sides, or all sides. But first I wanted to get these done. Did I know I was making a bestseller video when I was doing these thrift store makeovers, and the pig, the resin pig, the outdoor, this one has definitely been outdoors and has seen better days. But these little piggies are so fun to make over. See, I told you he's been outdoors. The pig that's been in the pig pen needs a bath. Now, I'm just wiping him off with a wet wipe. I don't want, there's a hole in him. He has a hole. So I don't want to get any water in that hole and cause a whole nother set of problems. So a wet wipe it is. And most of it is just sun bleached and stained up. So what will come off will come off. So yes, he's definitely a candidate for a makeover. In case you were looking for the hole, that hole right there at the bottom. It was manufactured that way. So now that I have him all washed up, he's dried, I'm going to put a couple coats of Slick Stick on him also. I really want his paint to adhere properly. After 2 coats and waiting overnight, I'm going to prep him just like I did the butterflies with some black paint by Rust-Oleum, the enamel, and that matte. That's just covering up. If it wasn't for not wanting to see the white underneath, I could just leave the white, I'm assuming. But for this, I want to be able to see the black. Oh, he already looks 100% better and doesn't he even seem happier. So I think I created a signature look with these pigs. Yes, so I can't help myself but want to do In a Pickle by Sweet Pickins milk paint on him. I love the crackle finish that it gives. Though, and it's nice because you can make, you know, because it's a powder, you can make just a little bit. So I did like half a scoop, and then, you know, trying to do just like the half a scoopage, and maybe I thought, okay, I might have added a little too much water, but we'll see how this works. So, you know, trial and error here, So, but still, I've got to stir it for the 2 minutes, sit it off to the side for up to 10 minutes till it thickens and gets that pancake batter consistency. But yes, I just really like these little piggies in this color. So now that he's dry, you can really tell the texture. So now I'm going on with my second coat, and hopefully this grabs and covers a little bit better. So as soon as I get all my paint on, I grab the heat gun and I start adding heat. Oh, look at those crackles, would y'all? Oh my goodness. Every object, I tell you, takes differently, but oh my gosh, those crackles are amazing. Finish this little piggy up with a coat of weather defense protective spray. You need to seal that milk paint in, and I prefer, especially on this resin piece, not to really rub it like with a wax or anything. I want to keep those crackles intact. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? When they have good bones, a good body, they just could use some paint. They could use a little love to make them new again. Let me know down in the comments which of the items made over today were your favorites. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know we've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye!